Hi, this is the guy on the phone. And in this episode, we're going to talk about one of my favorite subjects. We're going to talk about China. Now, the Chinese government and the country of China has been around. It's been around the block a few times concerning, I'll say, scuffling. The Chinese people, they like to scuffle. They're like scufflers. They are. If you really watch them closely, they're all scuffling around. We can see this at the trade shows. Now, the Chinese government really understand how to control a vast majority of people. Why? Well, look at them. I mean, they got a lot of dudes. They got a lot of folk over there. They got a lot of people trying to live. And even though they got this gigantic country, if you really look at the topography of it, there's a lot of mountains. There's a lot of areas where things just don't kind of grow well. So, like in most areas of the world, you can't use every bit of the land for agriculture or some type of industrial development. Now, one thing about China is, based on its geographical location, is something that the American government and other countries have known for a long time, is that China doesn't have a vast majority of its own oil. Just because of its, like I say, geographical location on the map. China doesn't have a lot of its own oil. It has some of its own oil, like oil refineries and oil drilling that's owned by China on Chinese land or ocean, whether they consider their ocean. It does have some. Yeah, most of China's pipelines come in from, the Ukraine, maybe? That whole, Yakistan, I'm sorry, but hey, I don't know the name of the country. There's a few of them over there with some generous pipage. I'm thinking China, they've got a little bit of a problem when it comes to the oil. Their dependency on it, because I know they've got a lot of trucks and cars and bikes and, everything needs oil. Even a bicycle needs oil, chain oil. You don't think so? Go ahead, give it a shot. And that's basically their biggest weakness, is their dependency on foreign oil. If you don't know much about China, a lot of us since the 80s, we've been studying a lot of the countries for, just whatever reason, just to watch the news. You just kind of pick up things over time. And since you've been watching the news since Dan Rather, you kind of just learn the the evolution of things just goes naturally based on, we'll say, precedent. So I think of China as being the country that we pissed off years ago somehow. I'm not sure how. And now they're like, F America. Now they're all like, F Americans. And when I walk around the city, I see Chinese people all acting real normal. And real casual. Every Chinese person I see walking around the streets is all looking at me like, yep, I'm not causing any static with anybody. And that's here on the home soil. And that makes me feel kind of good. So I want to ascertain China's, strategic position concerning whatever. Concerning what, whatever. We got to think about things as Americans. We got to think about things. We got to think about China and go, well, we're knowing about their dependency on foreign oil. We've known that for years. I mean, we are America. We do this analyzation in certain organizations of the country. We do. Not the best of it, but we do it. So, not only does China have this huge dependency on foreign oil, which, could be a point of interest some people. So China really needs to worry about it. China needs to worry about its dependency on foreign oil. It also needs to worry about a few other things concerning its technology on the ground. Now, its technology on the ground ain't bad. It's not. They've got some pretty good hardware. They've got a lot of tech. If you don't know that concerning China's military capabilities, they've got some beef in the fief, man. In the fiefdom. They got some beef. They got a lot of dudes, a lot. They got so many dudes, it's ridiculous. And they're all about 104 pounds. Because you gotta pack them in tight. So you can't know fat Chinese soldiers. They're all about 104 pounds. And I'm not sure what they're carrying these days. Now, if you give a skinny guy an AK-47 with a bunch of ammo, you're just gonna watch him dragging ass in the field. I'm sure China's probably thought of something else by now. So they're probably not out there throwing AK-47s on the ground like they used to. They probably got some modernized, decent assault weapon thing, probably some crazy looking thing. Looks like an M16, but it's all extremely black and shiny. Can't even tell where the exit port is on the cartridges. So you're like, well, at least they've got some decent stuff on the ground. Now, when it comes to on the ground, they've got a lot, they're red, so they've got a lot of stuff. Lots. And they've got some really good stuff when it concerning long-range artillery. So you got to worry about it. You got to worry about the range with China. If you're going to be fighting them on the ground, you really got to ascertain your ranges, because if you get within a certain specific range, you may get hit with a ballistic nightmare. Like, oh, they're 150K out. Okay. They are 150 caliber. Okay, bye. And then the phone hangs up, and then you just hear this like silence for about a good 15 seconds or something. And all the guys in China would just wait and go, is he in range? Yeah. Is he? Yeah, he's almost in range. Okay, wait. Wait a second, I'll just wait a little longer. Alright, they're in range. And then, you get hit with this ballistic storm of nightmares. All types of things, man. Ridiculous amounts of stuff coming from God knows where. Just because you got within the 150 kilometer range point. You didn't even know there was stuff around, too. You were like, well, it's like a nice day. The sun's out. It's not even looking like it's going to be hazy or anything. It's kind of warm. Yeah, it's kind of warm today. But, that's what it's like when you're on the ground and all of a sudden you just, for some reason, this ballistic nightmare comes out of nowhere. Why? Because you got within range. That's all. They just sit there and look at the radar going, is he in range yet? Bing, bing, bing. Send a bunch of guys in. Whole bunch of mess of dudes. I mean, when you say send a bunch of guys in, you think I'm going to send in a couple of hundred guys, right? No. Don't think like 100 guys are gonna show up when you fighting China on the ground. Think like 200,000 guys showed up. Like, where'd they come from? We didn't even see them show up. That's what happens when you fight China on the ground. 2,000 guys turns into like 200,000 guys within 5 minutes. Like, wait a second. Where did everybody else show? Where were they at? Were they hiding in the sand? Were they up in the trees or something? Where were they at? 5 minutes ago, there was 2,000 guys. Now there's 200,000 guys. Oh, wait a second. Something's wrong here. That's what happens when you fight China on the ground. Like 200,000 guys show up, and they only needed like 5,000. Because you got 2,000 guys, they only needed about 5,000, but like 100,000 show up. You're like, well, okay, crap. I hope we got something in the air to take off these bastards. That's why I don't want to fight China on the ground, because it's just mayhem. It's just complete utter mayhem. There's so many dudes running around, it just turns into this big, ridiculous, chaotic nonsense. Oh, sure, there's some trenches built. There's some fortifications put up, sure, but it's basically always runs around and these guys running around shooting each other in the back. Could you imagine, like, China messing around, like, with Baghdad, like all those dudes running around, and you got China guys all running around, and Baghdad all running around? Could you imagine the CNN footage of that mess? I don't even want to think about it. But that's how it works when you fight China. They just show up like, where the heck they come from? I didn't even see a train, convoy, plane, dude on a horse, nothing. Didn't see nothing. All of a sudden, all these dudes pop up right in vicinity too, like right where you don't want them to be. You know? And that's just on the ground. You know, that's just talking about fighting them on the ground. You know, with dudes and trucks and tanks and artillery and whatever you got hanging out in the back. You know, some dude with a shotgun is really messed up. They do that, yeah. They do that. They just put you on the battlefield. Like, all right, I gotta give this guy a couple extra clips, and I'm gonna give him a bottle of whiskey. Give this guy a bottle of whiskey and a couple extra clips. Let's just see what happens. You know, that's how it really goes down eventually. They even figured out in Vietnam. Like, some guys, you just gotta give them a little scotch and put them on behind the wheel of a Humvee, and you'd be surprised what these bastards can do. You're like, well, that guy watched a lot of freaking war movies before he got out there. And they gave him a little bottle of scotch on the field. Not a little scotch on the field, so... Oh. That's bad. Oh, that's really bad, because you'd be like getting all, you know, hazy in the head, you know, getting all dry mouth after a while, your head's spinning, like, it's too hot to be drinking. And they do it anyway. They be like, well, it's still hot, we're gonna fight the enemy, we might as well take us a nice little nip at the time, because, you know, we might as well. And they do. Don't worry, they do. They're out there loaded. You gotta be. No, you gotta be, son. Trust me. We learned a lot about war with the Viet Cong in Vietnam, because they just go out there and get them all messed up and see what happens. Really messed up warfare with that guy, you know. It's gonna happen. You know they're gonna get loaded out there. Humveeing in the middle of China going, these guys got no idea where they are. You're gonna fight China on their soil. Well, that's a whole different story. I mean, haven't anybody in the Pentagon even thought about it for real? Fighting China on their on their soil? Like, who's China's allies? India? I wonder. Is it Russia? It used to be one time, maybe years ago. Who's China's allies at this time? That's one thing I haven't really freaking figured out. I'm gonna look up on the intersmets, see who China's associating with this year. I will sell you some Hello Kitty first. Maybe a few Toyotas. That's the thing about China is we've all known for years. They started with the Toyota. Oh, they've been well ingrained into American society. They know more about American society than we know about Chinese society, trust me. They know more about us than you possibly imagine. Why? Toyota, sonny. They've been here the whole time selling us cars. Sending over reps and stuff. Putting up manufacturing plants going, well, if we just put a plant over here, well, we ain't got to ship the cars from China. Let me talk to some white people about that. I'm sure that'll happen. Yeah, let's do that. Let's just go put a plant up there in Michigan somewhere, pump out a bunch of Toyotas, save on the shipping rate, and just give them right to the morons themselves. I'm sorry, but they're not morons, are they? Maybe. I doubt it. They bought a Toyota. That's not moronic. That's one of the best economical cars you can buy. I love the Corolla. The Corolla is one of the best economical cars you could buy that's not a hybrid. You know, if you got 20 grand laying around, right? Might as well buy you a Toyota or get you nice Chinese licorice or something. And China's been well ingrained in American society for years. We've known it. We've been around for a while. Unless you're like some Gen Zer, then I'm just sorry for you. Well, fighting China on their soil would be a bit hard, even for anybody, even for India. And they're right next to them. India's right there next to China, and they'd have a hard time fighting them on their soil. So I'm like, well, I don't know if America's going to make over there with a bunch of boats and planes with Biden in the administration going, well, we might lose a few boats en route. I'm not sure if this destroyer fleet's going to make it over there past the southern tip of Africa. I hope they don't get hit with nothing on the way into China. They'll have to take a different route. Maybe we'll just hang out by Antarctica or something. Scoot on down by the cold, bring some blankets, and then, come in past Australia like, I'll just hit them with some naval stuff they didn't know existed. That's what I would do if I was America. I'd do exactly what he's talking about with the subs in Australia. Like, we'll just load in a bunch, put them out there in the Chinese Sea, and be like, we'll just keep an eye on you. Don't make us nuke the living crap out of your countryside from the ocean about, I don't know how many miles out, a few. Then send some notes over to India. Hey, India, I'll sell you some really cheap camel food. I'm just being prophetic here. I don't know, you can sell them anything. What are you going to sell India? That's my point. You could be like, well, the White House could use some more sex service, phone tech service. Maybe we'll get some of that in there. Maybe we'll get some extra rice or something. We'll make some purchases from India. Some big purchases from India all of a sudden. Be like, well, we need some extra food stuff, some rice. Could use some bread. A bunch of nice little things like this. Take a big old purchase from India. Be like, India, we need a lot of stuff right now. You got any extra oil? I'll trade you some old bombs from 1997 or something. Something we don't really need anymore. We won't even sell. This will be a trade. Be like, oh yeah, we'll get some rice. We'll throw you some old bombs. We'll just have a nice little talk, in the back room for a minute. There's some subs over there in the Chinese Sea. Be like, I don't know, India. I don't know if you've got the gusto. I'm not sure all those guys dancing around really have it in them to go down on China. So they'll just park some boats in the ocean and see what happens. That's basically what they're thinking right now. I'm like, it's not bad. As long as they include India with it. If they just throw the boats in the ocean, some aircraft carriers be like, well, we'll just float these around till they sink. That's Biden. We'll just throw things out there until they sink. I'm not working for this much. This guy's a total tool. Total. Hopefully the Pentagon's got their head on straight, so we'll be all right. I've got my dice on the Pentagon, not so much Biden. I think the Joint Chiefs may be able to take care of this mess without his input. I'm not sure Biden's input is necessary to the Joint Chiefs. They probably got him on redialers. I'm like, I'll call him back in 10 minutes. Yeah, we'll call you back in 10 minutes. That's the Joint Chiefs with Biden right now. Like, yeah. We'll call you back in 10 minutes. That's what I'd be if I was the Pentagon right now. I'd be like, just take his advice, just take it, and then say you'll call back in 10 minutes. That's all we've been doing since this the first 100 days. It works. Yeah, he's a total idiot. Yeah. So hopefully the Pentagon's got their head on straight. They're not too loaded over there. Those morning whiskeys and scotches. But if they pull the boat trick, I'm like, well, you better get India involved. You better buy some extra rice. Give them some old bombs from the 90s or something. Do it right. Because we have no idea who's China's allying with right now. I'm not sure they've been blasting that on the the old beatbox. We have no idea who's China's allying with. It could be anybody. It could be Russia. It could be France. We don't know. That'd be harsh, wouldn't it? We don't have any idea who China's. They could be allied with Japan by now. We have no idea. That's the only problem with them. They're very secretive. Very, 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 very secretive. And for good reason. They don't want us knowing anything. Why? We'll see what happens when we do know stuff. We send guys over there to Afghanistan and be like, well, it's nice seeing you. Bye. When you pull that on allies, sometimes you're like, well, I'm not sure if we want to side with this dude. He just bails on your ass. Things get a little too feminine-like. Too much estrogen in the air. All of a sudden, he's bailing on Afghanistan. Sorry, it's just the way, we got to see it from the Reagan administration's point of view. I was a Reagan baby. During that Gorbachev era, everybody staring at each other going, who's going to fire first? No one. I got to watch the tapes of the old stuff going, I don't know about these Joint Chiefs. I really hope they got their heads straight on. Because they could, what if China allied with Baghdad? Or Iraq or something, and some back alley hand grenade, some deal with a briefcase in some parking lot, 16 levels deep under some building, God knows where. I could just imagine it now. Some Chinese, dude with the really dark sunglasses, looks like, looks like some Chinese leader guy, but he could not be. He could be some guy that works at a donut shop. No one would know. They do that crap. They'd be like, this guy is total patsy. We just give him the briefcase. He works at the donut shop down the street. We gave him a nice blazer, some sunglasses, a good haircut, gave him this briefcase. Said, just go meet the guy and give it to him briefcase. And when tomorrow we can go hell down on some donuts. That's the guy they put in the limo that drives down underneath the building, parking complex, and down there 15 levels deep, and he's coming out with the limo, right? And he's all Chinese looking. He's got a couple of dudes with him. They're all like, they're beefy, but they're not super beefy. You know, they look right. They all got the darkest shades you can imagine, and like that really crappy light too. So like everybody can see things, kinda. And then like the Iraqis show up, and you gotta imagine the look on the Chinese dude's face. And they didn't tell him nothing. Like, they didn't say nothing to the guy. They said, don't say anything, just give him the briefcase. Alright? Like, this dude works at the donut shop, the bakery. But he's, like, dressed to the T's. And he shows up, and the Sheik shows up in the limos, you know? Like, 15 limos show up, all Sheik-like. White heads. Head garbs, nice shoes you can't see, big old limo Cadillacs, you know, they got donkeys in the back. They like totally show up Chic style in this parking garage. So like a little late at night. And it's like the simplest, easiest, like quickest exchange in the world. He just like shows up, he's like, he just doesn't say anything, just give him the briefcase. Then they just stand there for a second, like not saying anything, and everybody gets back in their cars and leaves. Like, yeah, you know that crap happened. Or something similar. I mean, think about it. Chinese, allied with Iraq? Are you out of your mind? Think of all the bombs. Imagine the amount of CNN coverage of airstrikes. Just like, another airstrike. They're going to be so tired of talking about airstrikes. It's just going to be like, can we just turn the channel? Is it like tennis on or something? I'll be watching tennis instead of another airstrike video going, yeah, it's the 15th airstrike this month. We're a little tired of it. We're just going to go back to watching tennis now. There's some sports I'd rather watch, you know. That's basically how it goes. That's basically, you know, the reality of it. It's just another airstrike after another airstrike after another airstrike after another airstrike, and we sitting there in America going, you know, all everybody worried about everybody's house blowing up from some bomb coming from God knows where. That's basically what it's like, for real, man. You're sitting around, everybody's listening and watching to everything going on the Dog and Pony show, and you're like, well, I think Iraq can do all right by themselves. I'm not sure they need a Chinese alliance. They could have just took that briefcase, never said a word, said, thanks for some money, dude, bye. Pulled it old school, you know? That's what I'd do if I was the Sheik. He said, just meet the guy there, get the briefcase. They open the briefcase, take the money out, throw away all the documents, burn the shit, have a little party, dance around naked, and just be like, we're the Sheiks. They pull old school on you, you know? Be like, thanks for some cash, bye. That's what they would, you know. They like that. They don't care, you know. Those guys would be like, we're gonna sell you some more oil. It don't matter. You China, you need some oil? Oh, don't worry, we come back next week, get some oil. I can't do the, you know, the phonetics properly. You know, like, it all bases down to, like, who can pump out more machines, and it's like, well, I don't know, China's got a lot of manufacturing, it sure does. We have no idea if they've got any alliances at all. Baghdad's like, yeah, maybe. Not sure we can stand any more Hello Kitty products. And the Joint Chiefs are probably sitting there trying to come up with some kind of like long-term plan, like, oh, well, I hope France doesn't get involved. They're a bunch of crazy mother grabbers. They don't know what they'll probably just start trying to fight Germany for no reason at all, just because they're next to them. Like, well, everybody else is fighting. I was just going to fight Germany. You know, like, just for no reason. I mean, Germany would just be sitting there going, man, we're tired of this mess. We've been messed with enough. We don't need any more of your crap. France just shows up with a bunch of wagons and trailers, and it's like, no, you didn't do that, did you, France? China's thinking about it too, going, I hope France doesn't pull some old we're just gonna attack Germany for no good reason. Just because there's crap flying through the air around them. They'll do that crap. The French are nuts, dude. You go read the history book. No, go read them. Go read them as somebody who understands military tactics. French are crazy, son. You don't want to fight them on the battlefield. You don't. No, they're out of your minds, man. The IRA, dude. Don't mess with the French on the battlefield, dude. They are out of their minds. Completely, son. I actually saw some guys that were training French, and I was like, this guy does not even look like a combatant. He's got on the uniform. He's wearing the hat real nice. He's carrying the cigarette. He's got the gun. I was like, this dude looks like he hasn't shot a gun since the 80s. And he's like, my age. And I see crap like that. I'm like, man, that makes me worried. That makes me worried about the French when I see guys out there look like they haven't even shot that gun since the 80s. And he's got on the uniform hanging around town. I'm like, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. That's why I don't like fighting the French, man. They are nuts, son. Totally bonkers. I'd rather fight the Chinese. At least they're less crazy. They are. They're not stupid. They're not going to go out there and waste a whole bunch of stuff for no good reason, man. They're more serious and strategic. At least you're not going to go out there and be like, well, maybe they'll fight if they're outnumbered. Like, maybe not. They might not. They might be outnumbered 2-1 and be like, well, they might not fight. They might be smart enough to go, oh, just turn the other way and head back somewhere else. That's what's good about fighting China. Is like they're actually smart enough to see that kind of odds and go, it's not worth it at this time. Maybe we'll just see that double in force as a good message. Hey, we'll just turn back the other way. Go back in the tree line. Somewhere. China, you can fight them in that manner, and you're going to be like, well, we just saved some lives today, but, we just killed a lot of people yesterday, maybe we'll just do one of those maneuvers, and maybe nobody will die today, war gets that way, trust me, it gets under your skin. They say it's like in the movies, but can you imagine, you're watching a movie on TV screen about some things blowing up, but, it's not like right next to you on the couch. You couldn't imagine on your head, you just be sitting there and all of a sudden the pillow blows up and the whole freaking apartment just explodes into a big fire eruption for no good reason. You're like, whoa, that was a good movie. Some realism. While everything's gone. The viewer of the film can't imagine that actually happening for real. You just be sitting there eating a sandwich and all of a sudden, 2 feet to your left, this artillery shell just explodes, Like, the aftermath of that, like the actually living through that. You could not imagine as a person just kind of willy-dillying it through life going, I don't know what kind of car I want to buy. Maybe I'll get one of those hybrids. Yeah, I'm going to jump on the hybrid. You couldn't imagine sitting there watching the one movie on Netflix going, man, what if the pillow next to me just exploded in such a velocity that the entire apartment just exploded and everything went flying into the night? I'm like, well, they can't really visualize that, they can't really conceptualize that kind of horror. Because they've only seen it on the TV, it's all a little bomb. They just turn the volume down. It's too loud, just turn the volume down. That's understanding of real warfare is, well, I saw it in a movie with the volume down. I was reading a book, so blah. Those kind of people couldn't conceptualize is the reality of that kind of happening, in life, just while you're sitting there. It's like, well, I went to have a sip of water. Instead, everything exploded. It's kind of hard to imagine it when you've never been through anything even mildly horrific in your life. I've never even had more than a scratch or a hangnail. People like that couldn't even imagine, like, your entire body just exploding into vapor instantly. You know, it's like everybody on the battlefield is just like, I just hope it's quick. Some of these guys, oh my God, I don't want to go through that. I just hope it's been quick. You know? So, when an artillery shell just blows up 2 to 3 feet next to you, it's kind of good in some ways, because it's going to be quick. Yeah, you may not even feel much. It may just be lights out. It's hard to imagine that kind of, happening in reality, but when those things blow up, man, whoa, they do some damage. Yeah, they really do. So, China, I'd say stay away from the ground war. Pentagon, I'd say do as best you can to eliminate any ground warfare activity if possible. I'm sure you got enough air and boats to do enough damage to China if necessary, but honestly, son, how much are you going to rely on fast build from Australia subs? I mean, do you expect them to just sink into the ocean? Because I'm sure there's a lot of fish that need some food down there. But I think you might want to be inspecting those boats before you send some humans out in them. You do work for the Biden administration. It's all about that deadline. China's biggest weakness, we all know, it's its dependency on foreign oil. It doesn't have the most rugged of troops, but I still would stay away from a ground war. Air? Oh, I don't even want to talk about air with China. I don't even want to get into MiGs. Best thing to do is just get a good close ally, keep the boats off the end, and then sit there and wait, and hopefully they don't do anything stupid. But honestly, you better be looking for whoever they got secret alliances with. That could be bad for you, man. It could be real bad if you don't know who it is. It could be anyone. That's the thing about China. Oh, we're enemy America. Oh, we ally with anyone now. They could be thinking like that. They could be. They got a big land space, too. They got a lot of stuff, a lot of dudes. A lot of crap. I mean, think about it. We've got our manufacturing, but most of America has been buying stuff from a Chinese manufacturing, so they've got the manufacturing masters, man. They've got stuff pumping out like mad right now. Madness of pumping and manufacturing. Those guys are jumping off of buildings right now trying to get tanks and bombs built. Right at the moment, son, right as we speak. You know it. We don't even have to go over there with spies to understand this stuff. We just got to know about China going back to Ming. Back to Ming. They over there having parties right now, getting drunk on wine, talking about Ming, son. They over there doing it right now. Getting drunk on their wine, talking about Ming. You know they are. I don't know what the Pentagon's thinking right now. They're probably getting a lot of spy action going, trying to, we gotta send some more reporters out there. They're probably getting as much intel as they possibly can going, I don't know what's gonna really happen in the next few years because Biden's second term is turning out to be quite a lush. That's what I'm gonna say. I think Biden's second term is gonna be quite a lush thing. By the way things are going now, I'd say it's about right. Another thing about China is it's hard to talk to them, isn't it? China people are the hardest people in the world to speak to. And I think it's because they just hate us from the get-go. They hate us from the railroads. So when I see Chinese people talking to Americans ever, I say to myself, the biggest problem with China is they can't really talk to us. They can't. They don't have the ability, they don't have the desire, they don't want to, they don't have any ability to speak to Americans or the American government. They're just like, F you. You want our cargo ships? F you. They're sitting out in the water. I'm sure they're pulling all types of oil games right now, beefing up stuff. They can't talk. They don't have the ability to speak to us. I don't know if that's going to be a clink or if that's going to be a benefit. But you got to understand, at certain points in war, people start to talk. They start thinking like peace treaty. They're like, that's enough dudes dead today. Let's talk about maybe a truce for a minute. You know, like those things do happen in war, realistically, man. You know, like some people start going through war after a few months, and they're like, well, I think we need to do a little bit of a ceasefire. We have to talk to somebody. Can we get somebody to talk to over there? Can we get someone to talk to China for maybe a little ceasefire for a couple of minutes or something? It's like, that's going to be the hardest part. You're like, they try to do some kind of diplomatic crap with them, and like, well, they're not even speaking at all. You know, that could be a big clink. Could be. Depends on how you use that. But I think those two things are the biggest problem with China is, you know, the oil and the talking. Say what you want about military manufacturing. Say what you want about troops on the ground. Say what you want about MiGs. Say what you want about nuclear silos and wherever Egypt. China is nobody you won't mess with, son. They know some stuff about Americans already. They do. You don't believe me? Ask Toyota. They do data on us. They all number. They over there doing the war machine by number crunching. They got Excel sheets out there, you know? They're doing it like pros. They got kids playing StarCraft all day, and they give them like generals jobs by the time they're like 21, you know? Like, whoa, what's his military experience? This guy was the best at StarCraft too. He was taking down kids in Iraq like they were butter. How old is he? He's a millennial? Yeah. He was actually playing StarCraft 1. Yeah, he was old enough to play StarCraft 1. And then we got him on StarCraft 2, and he's been kicking the crap out of Baghdad kids all day long, so we're going to put him in a uniform. We're going to give him a nice little general's uniform. His kid's never seen a rifle in his life. They do that stuff in China, be like, we don't even put him through the training exercises, you know? I'm going to make him run around the block a few times. He's skinny already. You know he's going to be skinny. You don't have to get him no weight loss program. They be like, this kid's going to be a general, man. He was a badass StarCraft 2 player, you know? They do that in China. They don't do that in America. They wouldn't see that kind of relativity. They wouldn't be like, well, we gave this kid here who's been playing this strategy game since the day he was hatched. We put him in charge of about, I don't know, 3,000 to 4,000 dudes. See what happens. You know, maybe we'll have to teach him a few things about rulers and pencils and stuff, you know. But, you know, it's all on computers these days anyway, so hey. They'll do that in China, man. You'll be up against some kid who started kicking ass, doing military tactics. By the time he was 12 years old, he was taking down, like, entire fleets with, like, 22 dudes, you know? I'm like, oh, crap. I don't know if I want to go up against that kid. I tried to play him at StarCraft 2 one time, and the game was over in 32 seconds, so I'm like, well, I don't know. I don't know if I want to, I don't know if I have to go up against that dude. We might want to get some extra snipers on that kid. Make sure he's not on the battlefield. He's pretty damn good. That's China. They don't care. They'll put a donut man in a suit. They'll put anybody in a tank, man. They'll be like, when you get that tank license? 2 days ago. Get in, drive. They don't care, son. Training? Yeah. Yeah. Dude in tank. Training. Get on it. That's China, son. They'll do that. Pump tank out. Test 10 minutes. Put dude in. Go. Go! You know, like, that's China. They'll be repping them out like you wouldn't believe, man. You'd be like, well, there's 10 tanks today. Tomorrow there's 200,000. Like, how did you get all these tanks all of a sudden? Well, there's that manufacturing, you know. Hey. Guys working shifts, you know? Jumping off of buildings. That's how they aggregate workers' conditions. Like, well, they start jumping off of buildings. Okay, well, back up the temperature. Turn the temperature down a little bit. Bring it back down to 73 or something. Yeah, it's a little too hot in here. You turn the temperature up too high, and guys start throwing off themselves off buildings. So just turn the temperature back down. Oh, otherwise we got no sneakers. You did no math. Go away. That's China, son. You go be up against some people who sit there and crunch the numbers on your shoelaces. Be like, how many shoelaces did he have? Did he have extra pairs? Did he get extra pairs before they sent him out there? Did they give him one pair of shoelaces? All right, put him through the thorn bushes. Yeah, make him go through the thorn bushes. Why? They don't have extra pairs of shoelaces, son. They're gonna be flopping all over the ground. That's China, son. You be running through thorn bushes. Where's my extra pair of shoelaces that the Pentagon didn't give me? Because they number crunchers, man. They up in there just excelling the crap out of you right now. I don't want to fight them, honestly. I think the Pentagon is probably sitting there scratching their ass going, well, what can we call? Well, there's Australia. Well, I don't know. They haven't fought a war since... I don't know. When did Australia fight their last war? Was it against Haiti? No? I'm not sure Anyway, I think the Pentagon's probably sweating a little right now. They're probably scratching their asses going, who can we call? I don't know. I'm not sure who can we call these days. I hope it's not that bad. I'm sure it's not that bad. Actually, probably over-exaggerating things, you know. Probably just overdoing things a little bit. But that T-99, I looked at it going, well, the T-99 is a good tank. It's good. It's got a good low profile. It's really hard to hit from the front. Now, from the side, well, just like any tank, it's good to hit him from the side. The bad thing about the T-99 is it's kind of like extra weak in the side for some reason. Really good in the front. You don't want to shoot him frontward, you know? You don't want to shoot him face forward. No, you want to hit him at the side. It's the bit. That's all you need to do. That's it. That's the thing about the T-99. So all you got to do is ding it in the side, and it basically going pop. I'm not too worried about it, you know. My boys in the Corps be looking at that, going, "Yeah, we'll just flank the crap out of these bastards." I just got flanked by two companies of armor. We got flanked by some tree line. Wow. That's basically all she wrote for your T-99 squadron. You know that one guy in the back's got with the loose track? Yeah, you're fighting China. There's a guy in the back with the loose track that they said, go, we're not waiting. You know it. You just gotta flank them. That's for my armor boys. That's for my armor compadres out there in the service going, what are we gonna do against the T-99? Just flank them. Watch them melt like butter. Don't even use Sabo. Use like cornstarch or something. Yeah. Don't even go hard round. Go practice round or something. Go training round on the side. Hit them with like a cannonball. Put some old lead in there. Shoot some lead balls. That's what I gotta tell you about the T-99. It's formidable at the front, son. I wouldn't be shooting at the front, but just dig it in the side with some 50 cal ammo, you'd be good. I'm not too worried about the ground war, but I am, but, when it comes to the Type 99, concerning, what people know about, armor and stuff, I'm not impressed. I'll flank the crap out of you, be like, melted butter! Yeah, anybody want some parquet? That's an old school. That's how I'd be, out there thinking about their capabilities, going, there's a lot of dudes. Which way are they going? They're going that way? Oh, they are? I just let them. They're not in range yet. That's what I'd do to China. I'd be doing the range thing on them too. Be like, oh, they're going that way. Okay, well, just wait. Yeah, just wait a minute. Sitting there staring at your old watch. Be like, just wait a few minutes. No, just wait a few. They're going that way. Yeah, we know that way. We looked at it earlier on the map. Yeah, they're gonna go that way. I'll just wait a few minutes then. Yeah, you know that one spot. Yeah, that one spot that we looked at. Yeah, let's wait for them to get to that one spot first. That's the thing about China, is like, when the guy says go down the road, they keep going. They do. You know, all marching and carrying stuff. When somebody in the upper elite says go down that road and keep going, they do. They're gonna stop because they got to some weird section. They're like, well, I'm just gonna go through this weird section real quickly. It's like, oh, I'll just wait until they get to that weird section. We might do some stuff at that time. Since there's so many of them, there's so many of them in that weird section of that road that some guy told him to go down. Be like, well, he told him to go down that road. He said, keep going to the end, keep going. And they do. They're a Soviet mentality. They're throwbacks from the Russian trade wars. So, they're going to be thinking like that. When you got that many guys, you just throw them all down the road. That's China on the ground, where I'd really like to stay away from it myself. I think we just stay with air, stay with bombs, throw some espionage over there, hopefully just keep away from the ground war. I wouldn't really want to put American troops on Chinese soil. I really don't want to go there. I don't think that would be good. I don't think that would end well for anybody. I think it'd be a resource nightmare. Think about it, Pentagon. Going for a land war in China is a resource nightmare. And you guys, with your fucking expediting of troops and stuff, I'm like, well, I'm not getting in that plane. That's how I'd be if I was in the ground troops. Like, I'm having a heart attack. I'm not getting in that plane. I don't know where it's going. I don't know who's flying it. Like, we just lost 200,000 troops because some plane got shot out of the air by some SAM missile. Because he was like, well, this was over international territory. It just looked like a cargo plane. We had troops in there. No, we had no guns. It was just like an aircraft plane. Yeah, it was flying kind of low, and all of a sudden it's like 2,000 guys are down. I mean, 2,000? Yeah, like 2,000 guys died. Yeah. What kind of plane was it? Well, it was one of those big old jumbo jets. Like, there's more guys in that in 2,000. Well, it was kind of, we had a lot of gear in there. There wasn't that many guys in there. It was just mostly gear. I was like, okay, that sucks. You got hit by some random SAM. Oh no, some aircraft with no guns got hit by a random SAM with nothing but troops on. No, it was all gear. There was only like 2,000 guys on there. Don't worry, they didn't have families. They all played StarCraft when they were younger. Don't worry about them. It's just some old trucks and stuff. Yeah, some old tents. A bunch of gear. Some tent poles. They just blew up a bunch of old tent poles. Don't worry about it. That's what happens when they call it in warfare. It's called the random SAM. I think you guys need to be worried about that in the old Pentagon. Be flying your planes around there going, which way are we going? I don't want to get hit by some random SAM. Just be like, well, I'm sorry, it came from France. You see, that's France. France will random SAM your ass. They're crazy, son. They'd be like, well, who did you shoot? Like, I don't know. They were f***ed up down at the SAM Site Center. Yeah, they got a little f***ed up down there. They started playing with the buttons. Yeah. That's French, though. You know, it's not American. Americans wouldn't be doing that. The French, though, I mean, it might be a little messed up at the SAM site. Who was shooting at? Well, there was a plane there. It had a bomb on it. It did. No, dude, the plane was flying next to the moon. It's like, that plane had a bomb on it. No, the plane was flying next to the moon. No, the plane had a bomb on it. We shot it down because we thought it was going to bomb France. Where was it? It was in Africa. I was like, well, why did you shoot it down? And how the hell did your French SAM site get all the way to Africa? Your story doesn't make any sense, France. It's like, they'll just start running away, you know, scurrying, you know. Random Sam, you know, that's the French for you. Try to blame somebody else. That's what I'd be worried about. You're flying your planes full of cargo everywhere. Make sure you don't get hit with Random Sam. Besides that, China, that's about what I gotta say. I'm not sure if I want to go that route. And we may not have a choice, though. That's the problem. We might not have a choice. And if it gets to that level, if it gets to that point of we don't have a choice, and I gotta say, man, go for the oil. Go right for the bloodline of that country. Don't even attack the planes. Don't even attack the troops. Just attack all of their oil. And just let them sit there. They've got so much crap. Think about how much oil they gotta have just to maintain. You hit them in the oil, they just shut them down. Be like, we ain't gonna go nowhere. We're just gonna sit here, try to bomb somebody. That's what I would do if I was in the Pentagon. I'd just be like, we're gonna go up against China, just hit them in the oil. Hard. Real quick in the beginning, too. Like, your oil, hope you got some left somewhere. Hope there's some oil left in that drawer. You know, Auntie's house. Because that's all you got. And a bunch of rust buckets, so... That's strategic advice to Pentagons, to people with brass, people thinking about it going, well, we got to call. Be like, don't call nobody, son. Call Iraq. Be like, we're going to hit them in the oil. Sorry. We just got to do it. Got to be done, or otherwise we got dudes in red hats on American soil, you know, scaring people. I don't want to get to that level. Let's not get there. That's what I do. That's what I do to China. I gotta say though, those Mings were badass. They were. You gotta read about them. Mings were bad mud grabbers. They fought like hell. Chinese ain't no giving up nothing, man. They ain't giving up no soil. Be like, you gonna come get one tiny bit of sand or no? You don't get no sand. They'll pull some kung fu hustle on your ass. Oh, dude, it'll be all right. It'll be all right. But harsh. Harsh as F, but all right. You know, publicity and everything. Guys standing on rooftops. The whole 9 yards. CNN have a freaking field day with it. But hey, we can't stop what started years ago. We just got to deal with the mess as it is. Right? So hit them in the oil. No more Hello Kitty. And turn off that K-pop crap. They starve them bitches. You know that? They do. Say hooray for USA, baby. We're gonna show them how he's done for real.